Hello and welcome to Get Nourished with Sarah Reilly. This is actually welcome to Get Nourished with Sarah Reilly. This is going to be a weekly deep dive into novel approaches of holistic and functional medicine nutrition to optimize energy and immunity. I'm Sarah Reilly, clinical nutritionist and burnout recovery specialist. I work with burnout business leaders, athletes, and those suffering from chronic complex conditions to repair, rebuild, reboot, and get turned back on in their body, their life, and their mission again. Today, I'm talking about how to optimize your immunity through diet. And this has become a really big topic. The realm of immunity has become a really big topic in the world now, going on right now currently with the entire issue of COVID-19. As we learn more about what's going on, as we're in the realms of the flu season, it's become a really big issue. Immunity. Everybody's talking immunity. What can I do? How can I take action for myself, loved ones, for the people around me, for the world at large, because we are facing right now a very big global issue and global concern. In lieu of that, I need to preface at the beginning of this conversation the views, the topics that are here and mentioned are not meant to treat, diagnose, or cure disease or illness. They are just simply tips that may help empower you and your immune system to be more resilient in the event you are exposed to any flu, be it the influenza A, which is now statistically the most encumbered flu this season, or if you do come in contact with COVID-19. And also I want to mention on here that I cannot give personal recommendations. If you want to take this conversation further, I am more than happy to do that with you, and you can go ahead and look at the link below. We'll be setting up Meet with Sarah conversations where you can just simply go to a link and pick a time on my calendar, and we can chat for 15 minutes to see how I can give you a little more direction. All right. And so we'll be sharing that in the links below, and also more about that at the end of the video, how you can come into my world. All right, so you can be more of this conversation and get more support for yourself and your loved ones. First of all, I want you to know that you have a brilliant, genius immune system working for you behind the scenes in your body right now. And it's been working for you since the day of your genesis, since you were a little baby zygote in your mama's belly. All of you out there, you have this genius immune system that has a genius orchestration all to itself, given the right forces are in place. And I cannot stress that enough. And that is why I'm beginning with the foundational pieces of diet, lifestyle, yes, supplementation, and environment. So when you've got pieces in place, you have a magnificent force behind you, which is your own immune system. I know that there's a lot of fear and a lot of feelings of disempowerment going on right now with this entire issue, but know that when the right forces are in place, you have an upper hand to be more resilient. And so I want to share some of those with you today. Can I share everything? No, but I can share some really crucial tips to have in place. And maybe you already know some of these, and maybe you're doing them. But what I've seen out there is a lot of people know a lot of this, but a lot of people aren't doing it. So whatever side of the fence you're on, let's just have a nice, quick drop in about some key things that are really important. And I work first and foremost with diet and lifestyle. Why? Because that is your foundation. That is what everything else is resting on. You cannot over-supplement a crappy diet. You just can't. Okay, so I'm going to start with diet here first, and then the next video is going to be about lifestyle. And then the next video is going to be about supplementation. I'm a firm believer in getting diet and lifestyle interaction in place first before supplements come on board. But I'm going to be bringing you all of those videos really soon. because I know this information is needed really soon. So as for diet, diet either drives or diminishes disease. You're either fighting disease or feeding it every time you eat. Okay? So first and foremost, what you got to do, you got to take down what's bringing you down, and you got to build up what builds you up. All right? So what we take down the inflammatory food triggers that are driving an inflammatory immune response in your body. Now, if you've got your immune system preoccupied with foods that are inflaming you, then if a flu virus comes along, your immune system is partially occupied tending to that inflammatory food trigger. And then the virus can get more of an upper hand. All right? So what we want to do, and it misdirects the immune system to be overactive in ways that it shouldn't be. You need to be putting all forces of immune response to potential viruses and flu bugs and bacteria and things that we're actually exposed to every day. Right now, you are fighting bacteria and viruses in your body. Your immune system is working behind the scenes for you, but you want to make sure that it's as potent and powerful as possible. Now, when I talk about potency in the immune system, when I talk about optimizing the immune system, I'm not necessarily talking about boosting it. I'm talking about making it smarter. Not smarter, but giving it the chance to be as smart as it knows how to be. When we boost immune system, we have to be really careful. Why? Because I work with a lot of autoimmune clients, and you have to be really, really careful about boosting the immune system, because you can boost it in a direction where it potentiates the autoimmune process. All right, so we're always conscious of that too. In what I cover a lot is really about optimizing it, making it as smart as it can be. All right, so we got to remove those inflammatory food triggers. What are they? They are gluten, dairy, sugar, the real, the refined, and the fake ones. Also alcohols. All right, so the big thing about sugar, a really, really big important thing to cover here, is that sugar depletes your white blood cells by like 50%. For like 5 hours, okay? So we want to be really, really careful, especially with the consumption of refined sugars that are found in packaged product goods. Now, additionally, I mean, there's sugar in all sorts of things, and whether it can be the tropical fruits, those are also really high in sugars. Mangoes, papayas, the pineapples, very high in sugars. All kind of sugars. We want to be careful about whether they are real from even fruit or real from refined packaged products. But in regards to sugars, like, yes, berries are great. They're low glycemic and they're high in antioxidants, which are really important. And low glycemic, moderate glycemic fruits like apples and pears are also beneficial. But again, you want to keep these things in balance. You want to keep it in balance. You don't want to overdo it with those things. All right. Now, the big thing about sugar is that it competes with vitamin C. Now, when it competes with vitamin C, what it does is vitamin C wants to get inside your cell, so it can especially the white blood cells. It's fuel for the white blood cell. And so if you are bumping vitamin C for the sake of consuming sugar, you are bumping your own immune system. All right? And so we really, really got to make sure we remove all of these things. You want to add in clean, lean proteins, clean, as close to organic as possible, grass-fed, as close to possible, really organic as close to possible. If any of the foods, the foods you can't find organic, then go to the Clean 15 by the Environmental Working Group. There you're actually going to find cleaner options for yourself, right? But a great way to get in a clean, lean form of protein is through smoothies. Smoothies are a great way. You can load in the clean, lean protein through a clean, lean protein powder. And yes, I have one that I can share with you via a resource I have for you. But it's so important to build the immune system with protein, right? And it's a great way to also get in a lot of nutrients, a lot of antioxidants. And in fact, you can just go to my newsletter on my website. You go to getnourished.net and you will find a free resource there called the Smart Smoothie Guide. It's a perfect resource. It's going to educate you how to make a low sugar, low glycemic smoothie, high in fiber, high in protein, and healthy fats. All right. In your diet, we also want to make sure you're getting lots of leafy greens where we get in the folates, we get in the beta carotenes, we get in the healthy fibers. They're going to feed your microbiome. And then we also want to get in the colorful vegetables, right? Also loaded with all these polyphenols, antioxidants, beta carotenes that are going to support your immune system, right? I'm a big believer in fibers, healthy fats, clean, lean proteins, lots of leafy greens to really give balance and sustenance for the system. And with the healthy fats, fats are huge. We can have huge players here for antimicrobial purposes. And one of them is a high polyphenol olive oil. The highest polyphenol olive oil that I know of is by Amphora. It's over 600 marks for polyphenol. And it's a great thing to have to even just take medicinal, like a teaspoon 3 times a day to coat your throat, because those polyphenols fight free radical activity. They're antimicrobial. And they're very powerful, and this is just such a beautiful source from Mother Nature. Amphora, a olive oil company, contains, I think, really the highest amount right now. You can find them online. They've got store centers around different cities as well. Coconut oil, I'll put the link for you below. Coconut oil is another antimicrobial oil. It's a great to saute, and it's a medium heat oil. Great antifungal, antiviral. And then red palm oil by Nutiva. I love this. It's high in vitamin A, which is also crucial for the immune system. It's high in beta carotene, which is then converted to vitamin A. And so this is great for sauteing it. Add in some turmeric, another herb I'll talk about in a moment. Add some turmeric, some garlic, some ginger. You have a beautiful saute base to then put all those crunchy, colorful vegetables into. Okay, so these are just some ideas for you. Some of my favorites, these are my favorite, like immune supportive superstar foods that have this great intelligence to them. One is inulin rich soluble fibers. What does that tongue twister mean? These are like miracle grow for your beneficial bacteria in your gut. This is like chicory root, Jerusalem artichoke, jicama, garlic, yacon root, asparagus, and onions. These are high in inulin, which then what it does is your gut bacteria chews on it, and then they produce what are called short-chain fatty acids, which then know how to fuel your immune system in a certain way to turn on in a healthy, balanced way, even for those with autoimmunity, to go then address and clean up the flu virus. How cool is that? Okay, again, what I have to note here is that when we're talking about the coronavirus, we have to keep in mind that the novel coronavirus that we're seeing right now, it is novel. It's novel. We haven't seen this before in humans. So no one knows what really works against it. No one knows what exactly it is doing per se and how we fight it immune-wise, but what we do know is we know a lot about influenza A. We know a lot about SARS, which was another coronavirus. And so we know that there are certain ways that we can support the body. And so that's what we're doing here. We're taking what we already know works against influenza A, and in some ways, I'll be talking later about supplements, and in some ways against those other coronavirus strains that we've seen in the past. Okay, so let's just keep that in mind. So another savvy immune supportive food is chicken soup. Chicken soup. I say chicken soup. Bone broth is on the rise these days, but this is particularly chicken soup. When you boil chicken bones, let's just say chicken bone broth. When you boil chicken bones, it releases something called cysteine. Cysteine is part of that metabolite that we see in N-acetylcysteine, NAC, what they also call it sometimes, which is also good for dissolving mucus and respiratory inflammation. It's something I use widely in my practice. So I'm a believer in that chicken bone broth as a base for soups to add in other delicious, colorful veggies, like adding in some steamed carrots and some steamed cauliflower with a teaspoon of, say, turmeric and some grated ginger, a teaspoon of grated ginger. Blend that all up, and you've got yourself a beautiful, creamy, delicious, immune supportive soup. Yay. And immune modulating. It's not going to fuel the immune system in a certain direction that may overwhelm someone with autoimmunity. Okay, another one I love are fermented veggies. Now, fermented veggies, they like a sauerkraut or kimchi, they produce lactic acid bacteria in them. That's why sometimes when you open it, you'll hear that little bubbling. It's all those lactic acid bacteria being busy, getting ready to go into your belly. So when they go into your belly, again, what this does is this helps produce short-chain fatty acids that help fuel your immune system in a healthy way to fight the flu. Okay? So another no-brainer, but something we all need to do, and a lot of us don't do it enough, and that's to hydrate. We especially don't do it during cold seasons, during seasons that are temperature cold, and times in high stress, which this is for a lot of people. So hydrating at least half your body weight in ounces of clean water a day, clean, either filtered or purified type of spring water. One of my favorite types of water filters to have on hand, it's called Clearly Filtered. We'll be mentioning that more in the lifestyle section. Some herbs to be frequent with in your cooking is because a lot of people are at home right now, so why not cook? It's a great opportunity. So turmeric is profound for reducing lung inflammation. It's a profound antioxidant. It also supports detoxification. And what's beautiful about it is that heat activates it even more. So we want to, add that into soups and sautés. Garlic, another one of those inulin-rich fibers that I just spoke about. It's also powerfully antiviral. But the trick with garlic that you want to do is you want to go ahead and chop it up, and then you want to let it sit for like 10 minutes, because that's when the really bioactive components that are antiviral, they get activated. They start to pop awake after like 10 minutes of just sitting on the kitchen counter. So in food prep, what I do is I prep my garlic first, let it sit while I'm prepping my other veggies before I do my healthy, immune modulating, immune supportive sauté. Okay, next, the top for the ORAC, the highest oxygen radical scavenging spice is clove. I love clove, especially in teas. One of my favorite is the rooibos chai tea, because you're getting so many beneficial polyphenols and antioxidants through herbs there. Cinnamon, fabulous. Oregano, cumin, parsley, basil, thyme. These are all the top notchers for ORAC value for herbs, which we want to keep in mind, antioxidants. So we want to keep in mind with diet, we want to really keep in mind removing those inflammatory food triggers. Removing them, getting them off the plate so your immune system can focus on other things. Then we want to put in the healthy stuff our body needs, the clean, lean proteins, leafy greens, these healthy, really savvy fats, these healthy, savvy fibers, okay? And really creating high antioxidant in the realms of everything you're eating, because with a flu, it becomes an inflammation event, an inflammatory event. What we're saying with COVID-19 is that a lot of the caustic situations with it that have happened are in response to LPS-induced inflammation. What is that? It's basically the immune system is seeing under the cell membrane of that gram-negative issue going on in the body, and it's saying, you're a massive enemy. I'm going to pull out all my forces to dispose of you. And it's a massive inflammatory event. So that's why I'm mentioning the herbs I'm mentioning, naturally anti-inflammatory, okay? And removing those inflammatory food triggers. So these are some really important tips for you. We've gone over the intended 10 minutes, but these points are really important. I know that there's a lot of fear out there. I know that there's a lot of people buying up the bread aisle and the canned food aisle of, SpaghettiOs and spaghetti. And while those may be your only options, it is important to be fed. But if you have the opportunity to buy real fruits and vegetables, fruits, low glycemic, low sugar, like I mentioned in this video, and colorful vegetables, clean, lean proteins, please do it. It's for your immune system, it's for your health, and it does matter. These things have to be in place first to support your immune system so that you can be more resilient in the event you are exposed to a flu. Okay, it's been an honor joining you today, and any questions or anything you'd like me to cover in future videos, please go ahead and include it below. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.